Yo guys, we're talking about loot today and how to loot Masterworks and Legendaries. By the way, super pleased to see that BioWare has already made a move and patched the chest run that we saw and talked about yesterday. I said that the loot economy was busted if loot was going to fall into our hands as easily as I was seeing it fall into players' hands yesterday. Considering that this is a looter and it has some in-game content that it wants you to explore, I feel like a prerequisite to get some of the best gear in the game should be you killing things rather than you just looting chests over and over again. So that was my concern. Either way it goes, BioWare has already addressed it within 12 hours of us pointing it out. So super happy to hear about that. Today though, guys, I want to talk about our farming method. Our method that we use to obtain all the legendaries and masterworks that we have. So first up, let me mention Grandmasters 1 through 3. Obviously, once you reach level 30, you got some pretty decent gear. Every activity that you do going forward needs to be at least Grandmaster 1. But currently, the reason why you would want to do Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3 is that it substantially increases the chances of you receiving loot. The problem is that Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3, especially Grandmaster 3, things get crazy difficult. So you might be able to do that stronghold at Grandmaster 3, but it's going to take you 4 or 5 hours to complete if you don't have good gear already. And in some cases, it's just going to be impossible to even do. And at some point, especially once you start getting into in-game inside of Anthem, you're going to have to constantly be weighing the ratio between reward and time. We completed a stronghold yesterday, Grandmaster 2. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes. It was a pretty hard stronghold. We were super happy that we completed it, but we just wasted about an hour and 15 minutes on this one stronghold. Yes, we had like a 400% increase in getting a masterwork or a legendary, but that doesn't really matter if your RNG is already crap. On top of that, you still only get 3 points on the stronghold that you're actually bringing loot in, that you're actually touching a chest or killing a boss, something that's actually dropping the loot. So when you weigh that, 3 loot points over an hour and 15 minutes, obviously that's not a good ratio, right? Turns out the best way to really farm for legendaries and masterworks inside of Anthem right now is actually a combination of things. So I just mentioned that the chest method was patched by BioWare. Yes, it was. It was patched. Matter of fact, what I see more coming from chests is masterwork embers rather than masterwork weapons and legendary weapons. Now, I will say this, masterwork embers is still very important. If you plan on crafting, you definitely want to get that. And a lot of stuff, especially in-game, once you obtain all the different components and blueprints, you're going to be doing a ton of crafting. So let me walk you through what my team and I do. First up, we load up into free play and we do Grandmaster 2. Now, depending on your armor level and what your gear and loadout is, choose whichever one you can handle the best. But I will say that Grandmaster 2 in free play is much easier than Grandmaster 2 in Stronghold. So just because Grandmaster 2 in Stronghold took us an hour and 15 minutes to complete, the ads in free play, even though they drop Grandmaster 2 level items, as in you have that increase, that 400% increase in drop rate, they are much easier to kill in comparison to Stronghold ads at Grandmaster 2, which is why you see people doing Grandmaster 3 inside of free play, still able to kill monsters and titans, and then they go off and try to do one of the strongholds at Grandmaster 3 and they get absolutely wrecked still. The scaling of enemies is a little different from strongholds than it is to free play. So for us, we load up in Grandmaster 2, we go straight into free play, we start at that main area right there, and we literally take the chest path. We want to start looting all of these chests because yes, even though they did go ahead and patch drop rates for items, you could still get masterwork cores from this. And every now and then you will see a masterwork item, but understand it's supposed to be much rarer than what it was before. The idea of doing these chest runs though, guys, is to snag as many masterwork embers as you can. Believe me, the quest guide that I'm going to put out tomorrow is going to have you utilizing every one of these embers. Now, during the process of doing this chest run, and I will say something about this chest run, even though this map shows all of these chest locations, understand if it looks like an area that would have a chest in it, 9 times out of 10 it probably does. A lot of times deep water has chests at the bottom of them, but kind of get used to what you're looking at and get used to seeing where you think chests would be. And you don't necessarily have to just stick to the beaten path. You can veer off, you can go northeast, northwest, really start stretching the boundaries of the map and start checking everything out. Now, during this process of hitting these chests, you want to stop at world events. Now, world events, as you see there, the little purple icons there, they're like public events, but probably scaled higher. Some of them are much more difficult than others, and we spent hours yesterday doing these world events on Grandmaster 3. And I will say Grandmaster 3 yielded some good rewards from these world events. But Grandmaster 2 though, guys, yielded probably the same rewards as Grandmaster 3 was for us, but in much less time. We didn't have a full squad in a lot of this, and we were just chewing through these Grandmaster 2 world events. And understand that the loot drops, legendaries, masterworks, that doesn't just have to come from a chest or completing that activity or killing a big boss. It can drop from any of these ads and any of these monsters. As long as you're killing and as long as you're slaying, you're constantly dipping into that RNG pool and tapping into that extra 400% increase in rewards there for Grandmaster 2. So every ad inside of free play has a chance to drop you a legendary or masterwork, which is why we say Grandmaster 2 for right now instead of us just going ahead and going Grandmaster 3, because we want to constantly be dipping into that 400%. We want to be able to slay out as many ads as we can in a run without just having to spend an ungodly amount of time killing them. Now, granted, you can do this exact same thing for Grandmaster 1. And as you obtain better and better gear, you can then move up to Grandmaster 2. And don't be scared about Grandmaster 2, because I promise you, Grandmaster 2, from my experience on free play, is much easier to handle world events than it is to handle a Stronghold. Stronghold already has ads and enemies fully decked out, right? You've got elites like crazy. And right now, from my experience, doing high-level Grandmaster levels like 2 and 3 for Strongholds has just not yielded any rewards for me. I haven't gotten a single legendary or masterwork from a Grandmaster 2 or a Grandmaster 3 Stronghold. Now, as you're flying around free play, you're checking all your different chest locations, as well as locations that aren't even listed on the map. Because again, guys, there's a lot that's not even listed on that map. Pay attention to world events inside of dungeons. Those are the juicy ones, guys. What makes them so juicy is they actually spawn 2 chests at the end, or at least the few that we've done. And again, those 2 chests, both of them, have a chance to drop you a legendary or a masterwork. And I believe the reason why it spawns 2 chests is because, number one, a world event is supposed to spawn up 1 chest, but considering that it's a world event built into a dungeon, it gives you 2 chests. Now, I've gone in there and just done a dungeon by itself, and I haven't gotten a chest. I don't know if that's bugged, maybe I missed something. All I'm trying to say is if you come across a dungeon and it has a world event inside of it, stop what you're doing, have your entire team go in there, because you're about to have a great chance to get some good loot. So overall, guys, that has been our best looting method. We always come out of a run having at least a couple masterworks. I was getting a couple legendaries yesterday. Les got a couple legendaries. Our poor man Dimitri here, unfortunately, didn't get any legendaries. His RNG's terrible, but it will depend on RNG. The fortunate thing about this, though, guys, is that Masterwork 2, that 400% increase in rewards, it's going to scale with all of the enemies that you kill inside of free play. But the enemies themselves feel almost like Grandmaster 1.5 difficulty, right? They're not as difficult. They're easier to kill, which will result in you turning over more enemies and dipping more and more into that loot pool. Well, guys, that is our farming method for loot inside of Anthem. Try it out for yourself. Yes, I've seen the loot caves. I've seen things where people have backed up inside of missions and they repeat a mission over and over again to get loot. I'm going to go ahead and say I can't do that. I will go out of my mind. I love being able to move around, kill ads, go up against different bosses. Grinding for gear and grinding for weapons is a marathon. Loot caves for me just burn me out, and I'm not even sure how effective they actually are. This method right here has yielded me multiple legendaries and a crap ton of masterworks. So good luck with it, guys. Now, before I let you guys go, shout out to my Patreon supporters. Much love to you guys, man. We've added so many supporters over the past few weeks, and I thank you all for supporting the channel. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.